Whew. It's been a really hot day today. Not much wind and quite warm. Another great reason to take a sauna. Believe it or not, taking a sauna on a day like this actually then helps you cool down for the night. So welcome to Sail in Finland. This is the second part now in our series on the sauna. So today I was planning to do a kind of a user's guide, if you will, on how to enjoy the sauna. If you've been to places like, say, Germany or Austria, especially the Austrian Alps, there's quite a lot of hotels with nice saunas. And they're really nice and they're good, except for one thing, which is very, very unfinished. So they have very strict rules, how you do it. 5 minutes this, 10 minutes that. Somebody there who's actually coming in to throw the water to control that it's exactly the right amount. This is just so not finished sauna at all in Finland. The point of a sauna is to enjoy yourself. So, whatever feels good to you, whatever you like, whatever feels like, the natural thing for you, that's the right thing to do. So this is not about rules. This is just to give you some helpful hints on how to better enjoy the sauna. Let's start with a little bit of an equipment list. So what do you need in order to enjoy the sauna? So there's just one thing you really need when you go to the sauna. That's a towel to dry you up after you've washed yourself. Saunas in the archipelago are not really 5-star hotels, so they will not supply you with, washing essentials. So bring your own shampoo, bring your own soap. If there's some in the sauna, it's most likely somebody who's been there just before you and forgotten their stuff. The sauna is hot and you will sweat a lot, so bringing something to drink is a good idea. Water is really good. If you want to have something a little bit stronger, then beer is also great. But one thing to remember, no glass bottles. The last thing you want to do is to break some glass in the sauna with the wet floor, all the kind of the wooden planking. You don't want to have those small pieces of glass hiding there and then perhaps cutting somebody's feet. Of course, a change of clothing is great if you still have anything clean on your boat. So if you have that, then bring it along. It makes you feel really good after the sauna. Note the one thing that I didn't put up here now, and that's swimming trunks. I know most of the sauna marketing that you will see, people sit in the sauna with either bikinis or swimsuits or swimming trunks on. But believe me, when it's 70 to 80 degrees hot and humid in the sauna, the last thing you want is to have something synthetic clinging to your skin. Ugh. So in the sauna, you don't wear anything. It's only for, Facebook or something like that you might put it on. You might want to bring a swimming trunk or something like a bathing suit if you want to go and swim from the sauna. A lot of the saunas are in kind of semi-public places, so if you go out and take a swim, it might be a good idea to put something on. Some saunas are actually very isolated and there's not going to be anybody near to you, so then it's perfectly okay to just skinny dip. But in the sauna, no. You might also want to bring something like a small towel to sit on. In some saunas they have something that we call in Finland pefletti, which is a small sort of tear-away piece of paper, something like that, to put under you on the seat. But quite frankly, I think that they're mainly, creating unnecessary waste out in the archipelago. So let's then go up to the sauna and see what we have there. Okay, so now we're inside the sauna. A typical Finnish sauna consists of anything between 1 to 3 different rooms. So this sauna has 2. It has a dressing room, the one I'm sitting in right now, and then next to it here is the sort of the sauna proper, the hot room. In Finnish, that's called löylyhuone or the löylyroom. And when we go inside, you would learn what the word löyly means and how it relates to that room. This is where you then, remove your clothes. Also, if it's cold outside, this is where you can chill. If you don't want to go all the way outside, but on a summer day like this, then, to chill out, you would definitely go outside somewhere, either on the small terrace here or down to the shore or something like that. The one thing to note is, you can't see it right now, but I'm not wearing my shoes right now, so this space will get wet. So in the Finnish sauna, no shoes inside. So when you come here, you leave the shoes outside or just inside the door. There might be a small, shelf or something like that where you put your shoes, but don't take, your shoes all the way inside the dressing room. It's going to mess it up with all the sand and things that you bring. Okay, so now I'm in the sauna holy room, or the löylyhuone, if you will. So this is where all the good things happen. As I said, there are 1, 2, or 3 room versions. So in this 2-room version, in addition to being the hot room and the löyly room, this is also where you wash. So let's see what do we have here. What are the important components? So some of this is now going to be a little bit wooden sauna specific, but most of the observations, will apply to any kind of sauna, also the electric kind. So first of all, if you saw our first session on sauna, so we have the stove here that is now being heated. It's being heated by wood, and of course it's now heating up the sauna. It's already quite warm. The stove is used to heat the sauna to something between, say, 60 to 100 degrees. If it goes below 60 or 50, the sauna is a little bit cold as far as saunas go. And personally, I think 70 to 80 is about the sweet spot for the temperature. Then there are, of course, those people who think that, it's a competition who can do the hottest sauna, and then they will go closer to 100. But again, my personal opinion is that that's not comfortable. So the stove also has then some stones, and this is where the real magic happens. So by throwing water on those stones, that's the löyly. So then you actually heat up temporarily the room with hot steam, and that's then, that really, I would say, is the sort of the most critical part of a Finnish sauna. If you don't have that, then it's not really a Finnish sauna, then it's something else. In this one, because we're washing here and there's no kind of plumbing, there's also a water boiler here on the side here, over there, where we have water being heated also by the fire. So when we start washing, then that's where we get our hot water. So what else do we have here? So a typical sauna has these benches that you see here. So there's one down here that I have my feet on, and then 2 other levels. So you kind of control how hot you are enjoying the sauna by how high you're sitting. The higher up you're sitting, the warmer it's going to be, and the more kind of stingy, if you will the löyly be when you're throwing water on the stones. We have here a bucket. This is kind of a special kind of bucket with this handle here. This one now is for water to be thrown on the stove. So this is the löyly water, löylyvesi. And then I have a scoop here that I can use then to throw it. Let's see, have we? Yeah, we already have the stones have already heated up, but I'm not going to, I'm not going to survive here doing this video if I throw a lot more water on the stove, but that was a very small löyly, if you will. Then because we do the washing here, you can see that there's also here a washing pan, and there's a couple of brushes to brush yourself off. So again, if there would be a separate washing room, then this would be in that separate washing room. A couple of things now, especially if you're going to a sauna in this kind of marina setting where you have booked, say, an hour, or in general also if you want to keep comfortable, is that even after the sauna has been warmed up, you need to keep the fire going. So it means that, say, every 20 minutes or something like that, you need to throw a few more logs on the fire. How many? A little bit depends on the sauna construction and the oven construction, but I would say that in a typical case, if you think that the temperature of the sauna is good, then you should put on 2 logs. Don't put on 1 log, because 1 log alone actually tends to it puts itself out. It doesn't burn that well. So you should always put 2 logs. They kind of support each other, and then they burn better. The other thing to notice is also that the water boiler is not very quick. So when you then wash, if there's somebody coming after you, then you need to fill the boiler. And you shouldn't do it so that you empty it and then just before you leave you fill it up, but you should fill it so that when you take some water out, you top it up, and then that in that way the water has time enough to actually then heat up for the next people who will need to, who will want to use then water after you. In this sauna we have a small hose where we get the water. There's a tank outside which you have to hand pump in order to fill it up. In some other saunas there might be a barrel or some buckets or something like that with the water where you get the fresh water. One thing to notice is when you throw the löyly, you should only ever use fresh water. Here by the sea, even though the Baltic is not very salty, if you use seawater and throw it on, then, even though this is metal, it's not perhaps the most fantastic stainless steel metal. So the sauna is going to, the sauna stove is going to start to rust if you throw seawater on it. If you're inside Finland on a lake, then the lake water is fresh. So there you can use the lake water, but you should check that it's actually clear. So if it has some algae in it or something like that, it's actually also going to smell really bad. So whatever you use, use clean, clear, fresh water. And of course, if you bring beer or something like that, never throw that on the stove. It just smells terrible. So the sauna kind of enjoyment now then comes from kind of 2 temperature variations. So the first one is here inside the löyly room, where you go from this, say, 60, 70, and then you get these kind of hot steam baths when you throw löyly. But then there's the other variation is when you go then, after you've done that for whatever feels good for you. You might do it for 5 minutes, you might do it for half an hour, depending on how you like it. It doesn't matter. Then you go outside to cool down, and that's in Finnish called vilvoittelu. So you can actually go just outside, or often then people go and take a swim, even in the winter. If you're boating here, of course, there will be no ice, but in the winter, they might actually sort of make a small hole in the ice and even go swimming in the ice, or in the water, under the ice. If you go swimming, one thing to pay attention is that typically sauna shores are shallow. So whatever you do, don't jump in head first unless you first check that you know, the bottom is deep enough so that you don't hit anything. You know, it's not nice to dive head first and then hit the bottom or a rock or something like that. I think we more or less now covered this part. So then when we're done with the kind of the lowly part, then, you know, you wash, and not much to say about that. So you take some hot water from the boiler, you mix it with cold water from you know, whatever, you know, is the source of the cold water, and then, you know, go outside for a final chill, and that's, you know, more or less the sauna experience. It's not very complicated. Doing a video on enjoying the sauna while being dressed up is actually really hot, so I'm now chilling out here on the terrace, and just want to remind you that there is a prequel to this on Sail in Finland. It's a little bit of history and how the sauna works. So if you want to check that out, I'll post a link somewhere here. And if you enjoyed the material, then perhaps consider subscribing to Sail in Finland and get some more information and videos related to boating in Finland. Hope you enjoyed it and hope to see you back soon again.